And we're back with the Home Service Legends podcast this week. And I'm joined by my very special friend and business colleague, Nick. Nick runs our entire office, CSR, DSR. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's the topic of today's conversation. So, Nick, today I kind of thought it was really important to talk about this idea of DSR and CSR for those who aren't running that in their office, because I'm seeing now that the more businesses I speak to, it's quite often that there is only one person running the show in the office, or there's two people. Even in bigger businesses, you've seen it as well, right? Even in businesses that have, 20 people in it, you might have 5 people in the office, and they're all doing the same job. And part of moving to Service Titan and working in with their workflows and that sort of thing, even if you're not moving to Service Titan, part of the importance of getting that role right is splitting out those roles. Tell me a little bit about what you think. What are the changes that happen in the office when you start to say, these people aren't just all doing the same job. Like our goal is to book jobs, splitting them out. What does that do?
It changes the mentality in the office of everybody's trying to do everything and everyone's helping, but in the long run, it actually affects it and kind of decreases the productivity. When you have it set out where it's your CSRs are answering the phone calls, they're booking the jobs, and for some companies that's it, answer the phone calls, book the jobs, and maybe a little bit of outbounding, and then your DSRs are booking the jobs, moving the appointments around, scheduling the technicians. When you have them both doing the same thing, you have this person's chosen to do this person wants to choose to do this, and you miss important stuff throughout the day or important information throughout the day because you're trying to do everything.
We were talking to a good friend of ours the other day about, we were looking through their profile, and obviously they got 5 or 6 people in the office. And one of the interesting ones was because that role's not like perfectly defined for everybody, we had situations where, let's talk a bit of Service Titan lingo for a second, but they're using adaptive capacity planning. So basically what they're doing is with Service Titan, it allows the CSR who's answering the phone to pick up the phone and to select, we're doing this customer wants blockage work, and put in their location and basically press a button and then it tells us, do we have not only just space, do we have a technician that can do that job? Do we have someone with the skills that can do that job?
Instead of having the normal CSR who's picking the technician saying maybe Billy can go to this one or maybe James can go to this one, it's taking that out of it. It's just numbers and stats, and that's determining who's available and who can go.
Yep. And so basically it finds capacity. This is the hardest thing to understand about this at first. So it finds capacity. So it says, I liken this to a restaurant. 6 people want to come in for dinner. We don't necessarily know where they're going to sit, but we know 6 people want to come in. Do we have 6 seats? Like, can we fit 6 people?
Exactly.
Great. For dinner, excellent. So that's the service, and then how many people? And that's the same for this, right? So we're like looking, do we have capacity to do another blockage job today? We don't really know how long it's going to do, but if it's about 2 hours, do we have some spots?
Yep. It's not looking at which technician specifically. It's looking at, you've got 5 techs, 3 of them are on a job for that arrival window. You've got 2 available. Whether it's the 2 that are actually available right now will go to that specific job, probably not. You might move it around, might shuffle it around, but it just shows you that it has somebody can go to that for that arrival window.
So if it's a blockage job, it's gonna go, do we have availability? Yes, we have 2 people available to go to the job. And then we go, do they both have blockage skills? No, only one guy does. And so it says we've got 1 slot. But it still doesn't put it on that guy, right?
Yeah.
It then puts it down the bottom tray, and if you're using Dispatch Pro through Service Titan, it's then within that refresh window. It's going to then go and pull the job up onto the board, and it's going to choose which technician. But in our discussion this week, we found that someone was using adaptive capacity to find capacity, and then the next person was coming along and actually just booking a job by looking at the board. And so they were taking the spot that the system had found, and before it could even like book it in, it was gone. So this was causing a problem.
That's why I think the rule that you have to stick to adaptive capacity, standards and accountability. You have to only use adaptive capacity. You cannot jump between them because the amount of times that we've seen somebody book 3 jobs in the unassigned tray, Dispatch Pro hasn't refreshed, another call comes through, somebody looks at the board and goes, "There's a slot for our next available." No, there isn't, because there is 3 jobs ready to go into that slot.
Yeah. And I think the moral of this story is like, if you've got this set up right where only the CSRs can book the calls and they're pressing the button and then only the dispatchers are dispatching, you're probably never going to have this problem. So anybody, let's not talk too much about Service Titan because obviously that's a topic for another day, but anyone who's interested in Service Titan, I'll pop the link below. You can book a call with me anytime or Nick, and we'll talk you through the program and give you a bit of insight into how that works. It's fantastic. Runs our entire business. So let's leave that there for a second.
Yeah.
So even doesn't matter what platform you're using. In fact, if you're using a less, complex or less, let's call it less sophisticated product, this process is almost imperative, right? Yep. Like this was a big learning for us because we historically had like 2 or 3 people just like doing the same job. And when you split it out, it's not dissimilar to like splitting out your install team. It allows people to get better at what they do, right? Because they're doing less stuff. So
that's the problem, is when anybody can do anything, they think they're doing the right thing, and that's just everyone trying to do their best, but you are falling short on the stuff that you are supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So we saw a massive increase in like when we split it out, CSRs are now just taking calls, right? And now...
Yep. They take the calls, and we do happy calls, obviously, but happy calls and incoming calls. That's it.
Tell us a little bit about happy calls. What's the purpose of a happy call, if anyone who's not using it or not doing it?
Rundown. Happy call is the next day. So jobs are complete on a Monday. Tuesday, we will give the customer a call. Brief call, probably a couple minutes. You're looking for 2 real goals. Review is always nice.
Yep.
A lot of people base our reviews, and that's why they call us. So review, and then also just to make sure we did everything we can to make sure that customer's happy. Did we leave a tool? Was our technician good? Were you comfortable? Were you comfortable with him in the home? Him walking around? Whatever it is, you are getting to the last step of the job before you sign off, and making sure that the customer is completely happy with their service.
So it's a quality control effectively, but also what it's doing is, from my knowledge, my understanding of how it works in our business is that you're effectively, it's like, it's walking up to the table and saying like, is there anything else I can get you today? Like, is there anything else? Like, we're just signing in. Not doing the happy call would be like going to a restaurant and then they put the food down, and then you just leave and they got your card on file.
Yeah.
No one checks in to see if you're okay
again
at the end.
Yeah.
Did you want to see the dessert menu? Were you happy? No, actually, my food was a little salty, and this was an option for you to go, you know what? Let's just take that off the bill. Let's take care of that today for you. We do want to see you as a return customer, because if you don't do that and they just walked out, they go, you know what? I'm never going back to that place again. That was the last straw, or whatever it might have been.
It can be a very simple issue in the customer's mind, and they might never call again because something as small as a technician didn't say bye, or a technician left, and maybe they were in a rush. But it's the tiny thing where if you just sign that off over the phone and say, I apologize for that, let's do this to fix that, then you've got a customer forever.
And I think it's like, Nick's reading, going through the extensive book list here on the shelf and reading Unreasonable Hospitality. If you haven't read that, it's an unbelievable
really good book. Great
read. And, that comes back to like, not being unreasonable, right? But having that bar set to a point where it's like, how do we just wow the customer? Like, what can we find out? Because like every single opportunity, it's like, if you take an online booking, which we do, you miss, how much do you miss the opportunity to like just build some rapport?
Emotional connection.
Yeah, you miss that emotional connection with the customer. So you're like now just like a booking app. And then if you go out to site and you don't present, or you just, present over the phone, or you go in and you give them a price and you walk out, you get no rapport building. And if you don't do the happy call at the end, you miss just another opportunity.
You need every piece from start to finish.
You need as many touch points as you can. As many times as you get to talk to the customer, the better. Because ultimately, they're the ones paying for the experience, and we're the ones providing that experience. And,
Exactly.
the expectation from our business is that experience is as best as it could possibly be. Do we miss the mark? Yeah, sometimes, for sure. But ultimately, we continue to get better every day, and we continue to try to make sure that our customers are getting the very best service. But it just takes time to build the business and to get it to that point. So on that subject, once you move out of, everybody's doing the same role, something that's been really interesting for us lately has been that we moved into that CSR, DSR role. And now we're like, well, what can we do with a CSR? How do we improve this? What can we do? We stopped and spot checked, batch checked the samples by listening to calls, or
right back to the bare minimum, answer the phone and book the works. And then now we are introducing more and more components to a CSR's day. But I think it's crucial to bring it back to your job is customer service, bring it all the way back to answering the calls, emotional connection, booking the works.
Yep. There's definitely a big difference between not building that rapport, and then when the guys get to site, when the guys get to site, they can tell that we've built good rapport in the office, so that the customer's kind of primed and ready for great service from a technician as well, right? From a technician standpoint. So I think if you can add that piece, you are going to have absolutely rock star office, right? And rock star support, because we implemented some training now, and now we're doing that training, a couple of times a week with our CSR team. And so what that does is now we're talking with empathy, right? We're making sure that because it's not just a call, right? We don't want to ask any more selfish questions where they call up and we go, yeah, what location are you in? Where are you located? What's the issue?
There is a whole lot of questions and answers that come prior to where do you live, or what is your address?
Yep.
Building the emotional connection. That's what people buy off. You buy off emotions.
Yep, absolutely. What I might even do, Nick, if it's all right with you, for the listeners, if anybody wants to get in touch with Nick and talk to him about, CSRs in the office and running that role and making sure that people are answering the phone the way they should be and getting, excellent customer service, if they want to take their customer service to the next level, we'll put a calendar link in for your calendar, and then see if, people want to book in and have a chat to you. I know that since we opened up the doors for people to come through to our office here on a Friday, I think we're booked up every Friday for the next few weeks, at least. So, feel free to get in touch with us if you want. We've got nothing to sell. We've got nothing here to offer other than just some, words of wisdom from one plumbing company or one trade business to another. And ultimately, I think that training that we're doing now, it's just crucial, right? It's just it's like the cherry on top. And now when you call up, our office, it's a whole different experience from calling any other plumbing company. I can guarantee it. Pick up the phone, call us, and don't make a fake booking. That would be quite annoying, and we end up going to nobody's home. But
or at least let us know if you choose to do that.
Let us know it was a sample. But ultimately, the key here is that pick up the phone and tell us what you think about the quality of call, because ultimately, I know that you're going to get a great, get great customer service. You're not going to have someone on the other end going I'm not sure, maybe this, maybe that. You're going to get some very concise, very informative information. We're going to be able to book you in promptly using adaptive capacity with service time, and we're going to make sure you know when your booking time is, and we're going to get out there and get the job done. So ultimately, a couple of takeaways from your office is splitting those roles is
CSR, DSR.
Yeah.
And when we say split the roles up, it's not telling the 2 or 2, 4, 6, whatever it is. It's not telling the employee that you are CSR, you are DSR, but it's actually splitting them up. If you can have them in 2 separate rooms or one side of a room, it's that connection when they're sitting next to each other that we've found the issue to be.
Yeah, it's difficult because they've got 2 different objectives.
Yeah.
One's objective is let's book as many calls as the system will let me book. And then the other person is, okay, these calls are coming in. Again, I'm just going to keep using restaurant terminology because I think it's great, but ultimately it is. You've got the people out the front, the waiters and the waitresses taking the orders, and then you've got, they're the CSRs, and in the kitchen you've got the DSRs that are like, another docket in, and they're stacking up the dockets and going like, at some point they go, all right, cut it off. Like we can't take any more orders. We've got enough. Like, give us a second. And that's essentially what happens in our business, right? We open up the floodgates. The CSR team is booking as many calls as possible that the system will allow, or what adaptive capacity we've given it.
Keyword there, the system will allow. Correct. And that's why it's so crucial to split those up, because it's not a person choosing when to stop getting more calls or we are fully booked. It's the system.
What did you see when they're together, right? They sit next to each other and they, instead of looking at the system, they go,
Hey, are you available?
Any chance you could slot
Can we get this
water in?
Yeah.
And it was, and like, some people are going to sit here and go, well, that's really bad. Like, you want to take as many jobs. Like, why would you let a lead go? But it's not necessarily that we let the leads go. It's just that, like, we have built-in capacity to provide people great service.
Exactly.
We can only do so much. And Service Titan obviously allows us to go, we want to overbook on hot water, or we want to overbook on blockages, and we want to reduce the amount of tap washers that we sell today. So that can work, but ultimately there is only so much work that you can take. If you get 100 hot water units in today, it's like a company of our size, we just can't do it. Couldn't possibly get to 100 units in a day. Like, there has to be a lid. And if you can keep that consistency up, then you can add more people, add more team members. But ultimately, to give the level of service that we give, there's only so much. Same as a restaurant. You can't, when your tables are full, you can't just start sitting people on the floor and going like, let's just keep going. Like the kitchen is
just
built,
keep bringing them in.
Yeah, the kitchen is built to feed the amount of tables there are, and the waitresses and waiters are, there's enough of them to serve the right amount of tables. Like, we have to have these rules. And often in trade businesses, we just throw the rules out. We're like, yep, just take it. It's a hot water. We'll get to it.
Book it.
And it's not good enough. Like, we ended up leaving. We didn't do the job properly. Like, not when I say we, like, it's been a long time since we've left and not done a job properly. That's been, 5 years now.
Yeah.
But like, ultimately, there are people out there that are like, they'll call us and they'll go, yeah, we had a plumber come out. He made us wait all day. And then at the end of the day, he said, yeah, it's getting too late now.
Yep.
Like, what? Don't take the job.
Well, some don't even call.
Or they don't even call. So don't take the job if you can't do it. And if you can't do it right, and you're not going to have the time to sit there and quote it, or you're in a rush, so you come in and you give them a half-assed presentation, give them a proper presentation. Take the time.
I think that's what's important about adaptive capacity is the DSR and CSR might believe that what they're doing is 100% correct, get all the jobs in, or we do have availability, but nothing can beat adaptive capacity. It tells you if you have availability or if you don't have availability. There is no emotion in that. In that answer or question.
And that comes back to what we were talking about before, which is they're doing different roles, right? So CSR is trying to get as many calls in up to what the system will tell them they can, and then it's going to say, you need to book these for tomorrow.
Yep.
And then the dispatchers are looking at everything coming in. If you're using Dispatch Pro, things are going to go up on the board automatically, and you're effectively managing the alerts tab, which is basically, for those who aren't aware or are thinking about getting on Service Titan, what it does is it allows you to have things like, let's say we have a full board, or we have a relatively full board, and a hot water unit comes in, and we've got like a tap washer or something like that we told someone will come and have a look at their taps. And again, I get it. Like, we want to serve everyone equally, but quite often the tap washer person's like, yeah, I can go one more day, no problems.
Yeah.
So what it'll do is it may take that job off the board and put it down in the alerts to say, hey, I've pulled this job off the board, and it will slot up the hot water in its place. Like, it'll switch it out and go, it's higher value, it's more urgent. Like, it looks after those things to make sure that we're getting to the right people in the right time. So the dispatcher is effectively watching the jobs come in, watching them get automated on and off the board, and then just juggling the ones that go to alerts. And and you would know sometimes you're like, no, we have to get to that job. Like, no questions asked.
It may be a tap service, but we have to get there.
We have to get there. And Service Titan's good with that too, because obviously if it pulled the job off before and we've rescheduled, it won't. It tries not to pull it off again the next day. So if we've rescheduled, it's gonna try to push for the job to happen. But whether you have Service Titan or not, that should be how it is. There's a team or a person answering the phone and taking the bookings, And then in the other side, there is a person going, okay, thanks for all the bookings. How do we manage this, right? And you obviously have to set some rules and parameters around like what you can handle in a day. Like we've got 3 techs, so we want them all to have 3 jobs. So we can only do 9 jobs a day or 9 quotes or whatever it might be. And just manage it.
Yep.
Right? It's not that hard. And once it's running, that's a scalable machine, right? And that's what I like about it. Is like, now that I know we have this and this is how this operates, like bring on the leads.
Yeah.
Like bring it on, because the CSR team's never overwhelmed, really, because they only answering incoming phone calls. Like they could have one every time they put the phone down, they pick it up again, but they're not doing anything else. They're not trying to find, bookings in the schedule and being like, as soon as they hang up, I have to like drag the job up and then notify the tech. Like they're not doing that.
Go to this one, yeah.
They're not working that out. They're just answering the phone calls, and then the other person is sitting there moving those jobs around and rescheduling, reappointing, canceling, what have you. But essentially 2 separate roles, and then same for as we said with the CSR. If there's nothing to do, they're outbounding, right? Yep. They're looking for work. If work's not coming in, they're looking for work to come in another way. And we probably didn't mention that the DSR is not only booking the jobs that came in, they're also booking in, things we sold 2 days ago that need to be done.
Yep.
Do you have any, and I think this was a cool conversation, just something light and interesting for this week for anyone who doesn't have those roles set up. If you got any guidance, any anything you like to pass on, any words of wisdom for owners that are looking to do this, or people who are currently in a CSR role, or?
That's a good question.
What about, we know that, on a parting note, I would say the one thing that I noticed from your training with the team is that empathy is everything, right? Making sure that we're giving customers confidence that they've come to the right place is one, super important. But also in the training that we do is just stop being self-serving, right? We don't want to be sitting there going like, thanks for calling in. Where's your location? Because that's important to us, where they're located. And then going, what's the issue? How urgent is it? That's a question for us, because we're trying to ascertain how important it is to us, right?
Our training has, I think, 5 or 6 questions before you ask that first one about where the customer lives, or there is questions about who found the issue. There is questions about, can you tell me more about the issue? Do you know what toilet you're looking to install? And it's those few questions at the start of the conversation that dictate how the whole booking will go, and then dictate how the technician on site will go.
Yeah, because if I'm calling in, I don't want these self-serving questions.
No.
Okay, fine. I understand, like, if they're not in our location, we can't serve them. So we do have to ask at some point, where you're calling from, or what's your location, or what's your address, or what have you. But the most important thing is everybody gets treated right. It's like, again, walking into a restaurant where they don't have any bookings, and as soon as you turn up, they're trying to tell you they don't have any bookings. It would be much better if they went, what were you looking to eat tonight? Or,
exactly.
we're looking for a table for 2. Okay, and this is your date. This is lovely. You guys are going out. You just got married. Fantastic. I love to hear that. Well, we have a range of great dishes on the menu, at this restaurant. Unfortunately, we don't have any availability. But let me just have a look here. Do you guys go on date night regularly? Could we get you in for next Saturday?
Exactly.
We do. We're going to have to go somewhere else. There's a great restaurant around the corner, Mario's. Go check that out. They do a great pasta. Is that what you were hoping? Yeah, we were really hoping to try the linguine here. Great. They have a fantastic dish around the corner. Like, give the customer some value.
Yeah.
Book them in for next time. It's so often we go to places and like, sorry, we got no tables. Have you got a reservation? Or the stupid one, have you got a reservation? Don't ask me that first. Don't ask me, have I got a reservation first? What a self-serving question. Like, don't ask that first, right? And this is what we're trying to teach. Like, to our teams, like, don't ask those questions.
Especially if you're in a situation, and which is kind of why we implemented the strategy that we're doing, is if the end of the conversation is always going to be that we don't have availability today, it's just been a chaotic day, you'd like to get your tap serviced, we've got no hot waters and burst pipes. In the end, the answer to their questions is always going to be, we don't have availability, but building that where what is the issue? Tell me more. How can we help you? This is what we'd like to do for you, as opposed to, I've got a tap that I'd like to get serviced. Wonderful, Mitch. My next available is tomorrow. Oh, well, I wanted to do today. Okay, thanks. Hang on.
And how many times do they hang up when we could have when we could have said, ask those questions like,
Yep.
how long has it been dripping for? A week, 2 weeks? That's terrible. All right, cool. Well, you've come to the right place. We can do this, or whatever our steps are. And they go, because they feel so much comfortable, you go, I would love to help you today. I'd love to do that. I'd love to get you on the books. I'd love to get someone out there. But right now, we're helping, quite a few local homeowners get some urgent issues fixed. I do have tomorrow morning. How about I book you in for tomorrow morning? And how about we get you booked for tomorrow morning? And then if anything comes up for today, I'll give you a call back. How many people would go, yeah, you know what, I'll take that. And that's the difference between booking a lead and not booking a lead, right? I love that. Same with the restaurant. It's the same as turning them away or getting a booking for next Saturday. Book it in. Book the lead. Thank you, Nick, so much. It's been an absolute pleasure today. I'll put everyone's details down below. Remember, you can book in to come and hang out with us for a morning here at our HQ in Melbourne, Australia. I'll put in my calendar link if you have questions about Service Titan, and Nick's if you want to talk to him about running a Rockstar CSR, DSR office. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Amazing.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Mitch.
Bye.